JD Vance's past comments utterly vilifying women continue to haunt his riskless quest for the vice presidency. Listen to this newly unearthed audio.
I think our conservative idea is that parents and families should determine what children learn, what values they are brought up with. So many of the leaders of the left, and I hate to be so personal about this, but they're people without kids try to brainwash the minds of our children. And that really disorients me and it really disturbs me. Randi Weingarten, who's the head of the most powerful teaching union in the country, she doesn't have a single child. If she wants to brainwash and destroy the minds of children, she should have some of her own and leave ours the hell alone.
If you enjoyed decades of, hey, why don't you give us a smile? How would you like, hey, why don't you give us a kid for your opinion to mean anything? Now, many of you have heard him say things like this along the way. This is a bit more specific. He has moved from just generally saying that you bitter, probably ugly, childless cat ladies, your voice shouldn't count for anything and you're not really citizens, to now saying, women with specific careers where they've devoted decades in service of our nation's children, yeah, forget all that. You don't have any kids and so you don't count. By the way, it's not even true she's a mother by marriage. She has raised kids, but I guess she didn't birth the kids, so it doesn't count. Now they're getting even more specific and petty in how they decide which women get to have political power or influence and which don't.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
I would like your thoughts about that, Sharon, and especially how he very smoothly transitioned from conservatives should decide how kids are taught to they're trying to mind control our kids. Like he literally just said that that's what we want to do. And so he projects onto the teachers union that they have some sort of ideological goal. He can't demonstrate it. He doesn't even try. He just tries to nullify their potential influence by saying they didn't have kids in a particular way that I would like. What do you think?
Yeah, and neither did he. He didn't birth any children. And if that's the standard, then why don't you just let women decide all of these issues, or at least the ones that affect their own bodies? It's just, the guy is pathetic. When my mom was a teacher and pregnant with my sister, she told us she had to resign, even though she was married, because of course her belly could not be shown in the classroom back then. I mean, that would be terrible for brainwashing the children. And of course, you don't get to make up those benefits and those years of service and everything. You start from ground zero when you go back inside the classroom once your body has taken care of the situation. So how much more does JD Vance want to do to us? And who actually hurt him? I don't believe Usha was, the one woman he dated and fell in love and married. There has to be someone out there, a woman who hurt him so deeply, who he wanted perhaps or wanted to be like. I don't know, but it's just, we got to stop using the weird word, but it's weird. It's
Super.
Weird that you're saying this out loud and it's deep-seated and just nasty.
Yeah, I would love if Usha would just grab a rolled up newspaper and give him a firm thwap on the nose or something. Like, obviously I'm not implying that women are responsible for what their horrendously misogynistic husbands say, but he is saying a lot of it, by the way. Yeah. What I think is going on here, and we'll get to Randi Weingarten, the woman who's being attacked there, her response is Donald Trump rose to power by activating a lot of different negative things, but a lot of it was racism, was like telling his fans, hey, I'm super racist, you too can be super racist and it's okay. And that was so obvious, not just to me, but also to JD Vance. He pointed out that that's what Donald Trump was doing before he became a supporter of his. So that implies to me, that combined with the fact that he's in an interracial marriage, I don't think he's as comfortable as a lot of Republicans in campaigning purely on racism, but he needs something. So if I'm not gonna do a racism, well, my potential base really hates women's guts. Maybe I'll go for that. I think that's what's going on. I think that when he decided he was gonna run for office, he thought, well, how do I get into office? I gotta attack somebody. I guess it's gonna be women. And I think that's what he's doing. And you, by the way, should get so much credit because such a great point. He said it doesn't count unless you birth it. He's never birth it. Now, I know what he would say. I was involved in the process. Okay, you had an orgasm, and I guess a few of them weren't into an inside-out rubber glove stuffed between two couch cushions, so you get a lot of credit for that or whatever. You still didn't give birth, dude. Maybe you shouldn't have any political power. Anyway, as I said, Randi Weingarten, who, by the way, I have interviewed on the show before, commented saying, gross. JD Vance's comments are sad and insulting to millions of modern families and school teachers, including Catholic nuns, none of whom should be targeted for their family decisions. Well, I guess those Catholic nuns don't get to have a say, according to JD Vance. Teachers who are in back-to-school mode right now help other people's children every single day. Those who virtuously serve our community should be lauded, not vilified. And then to the prayer hands to our nation's educators. 100%. Like so many, lots of teachers have kids. Lots of teachers don't have kids. Male teachers, almost by definition, have not given birth to a child. Do they not get to have a say? Again, none of this makes any sense, even from the point of view of a right winger, when you actually think about it. He's relying on the fact that you will not think about it. You will just have an emotional knee-jerk reaction to screw women. They shouldn't have a say. That's what he's campaigning on. Any other thoughts?
No, I will just say this, that this whole thing where the media made a lot of how smart or IQ or Harvard JD Vance is, we have to start thinking about what's really important. Just because you went to a certain school, although, and I'm starting to think Josh Hawley and these other people, Ted Cruz, that maybe we got to rethink this whole Harvard thing. But I don't believe he is so smart, because what are you doing? You've just pointed out like 8 different ways of how, are you trying to lose this thing? Is this whole thing a plant where you got on the ticket just to blow it up? It's not smart. And I have to believe that either he has an enormous blind spot or he's not as bright as people are making him out to be.
I agree. I think the media is always so desperate to be like, oh, here's a right winger who's serious. And not just, like a religious ideologue or whatever. This is an intellectual. They did it with Ben Shapiro. They're doing it with him. No, these people are stupid. They're stupid as hell. But anyway, I just want to end with this. If you wanted to freak out about weird behavior where women who haven't had kids yet are like trying to get involved in your schools or whatever, if that's a thing that you wanted to have as a hobby or whatever, Chaya Reichik tweeted a day or two ago that she's looking for parents in Ohio schools to be her eyes and ears on what's going on there. So to be clear, if you're not familiar with this is the Libs of TikTok woman who doesn't have any kids, who doesn't live in Ohio, but really wants spies in Ohio schools. I'm just saying, JD Vance, if you wanted to look into something, that might be up your alley. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.